What's up everyone, Pritch here, and in New World there are a ton of weapons that frankly all seem extremely fun and cool in their own way, so it's really common for people to feel overwhelmed and struggle choosing which weapon they want to level first. In this video, I'm going to help you guys choose which weapon is right for you. I'll spend about 1 minute on each weapon just by going over the general playstyles, the strengths, and the personality types that tend to gravitate towards each weapon. This is going to be a fun video, so kick back, relax, and enjoy. The first weapon is going to be my personal favorite, the Great Axe. The Great Axe is a giant two-handed axe that excels at AoE cleave and sticking to enemies. The Great Axe can do some really solid damage with plenty of lifesteal passives to keep your health topped off. It also has the best engage ability in the game with Gravity Well, which locks enemies in your vortex like a rat caught in a trap. For sticking to enemies, you have plenty of abilities like a dash, pulls, and gravity wells to lock down opponents, and your auto attacks have a magnetic pull that lurches you towards fleeing enemies. If you're a shot caller or enjoy being the setup playmaker, the Great Axe is for you. You're going to be the go button on every engage. It's also the go-to weapon for people like me with brain problems because, frankly, it doesn't take too many brain cells to hold W and mash your abilities. For you League of Legends fans, the Great Axe is Darius incarnate.
Pentakill.
Second, we have the Hatchet. The Hatchet is a small one-handed axe that has incredible sustain and single-target DPS. You know how every game kind of has that one class that feels like the favorite child of the developers? Well, that's the Hatchet. On literally one ability, you can get 12 seconds of increased damage, move speed, health regen, grit, and grit means that you can't be staggered or interrupted or knocked down or knocked back, and when you activate it, you remove conditions on you. Yes, it is literally as insane as it sounds, and it's essentially playing New World on easy mode. If you want an easy time playing New World, this is the weapon for you. If you self-identify as a noob, the Hatchet is for you. If you don't know what a noob is, the Hatchet is also for you. It's so stinking simple that I asked my wife, who never plays video games, if she understood how to use the Hatchet, and she said, quote, "Get out, I'm trying to shower." Third, we have the Sword and Shield. The Sword and Shield was designed to be a disruptive tank with a little bit of teammate boosting through buffs and passives. The Sword and Shield are the go-to weapons for all tanks as it provides the largest block potential and damage mitigation. It's also the only weapon set that can block ranged attacks. The playstyle of the Sword and Shield is simple. Remove your keyboard entirely and just hold down the right mouse button to block everything in the game. If you play video games and want to be the tank, the Sword and Shield are for you. If you have deep-seated trust issues stemming from your childhood that prevent you from believing in your teammates to execute mechanics or properly hold aggro, Sword and Shield are for you. Or maybe you're just a basic bitch whose favorite food is plain toast and your idol is Raymond Holt. If so, the Sword and Shield are for you. Fourth, we have the Warhammer. The Warhammer is the biggest weapon in New World, and as such, it does the largest amount of damage, but at the cost of being the slowest weapon. This gigantic hammer is the CC King and AoE Disruptor. Most of the Warhammer abilities provide AoE CC along with solid AoE damage, making it extremely strong in clearing PvE mobs and a menace in large-scale PvP battles. Most Warhammer users love the playstyle of chain CCing with big damage slaps. This is absolutely the go-to weapon for people that think size matters. Warhammer users tend to enjoy fantasy novels and can't wait to wake up on Sunday to watch a bunch of buff dudes hit each other and play slap ass. Other pastimes include talking about working out, lying about working out, and making up excuses about why you just can't work out. Fifth, we have the Rapier. The polar opposite to the Warhammer, this is the skinniest but fastest weapon in New World. The Rapier offers a fast-paced, action-packed adventure with insane single-target DPS, but at the cost of being very fragile and capable of dying very fast. The Rapier is the highest single-target DPS melee weapon in New World and has two very unique abilities. One is a parry, which is the only parry ability currently in the game, and the other is a very spammable invulnerability. When executed flawlessly, rapier players can dodge or iframe any threats they come across. The rapier is the weapon for those that want to be sweaty and want to test their mettle as a pro gamer, because it's going to take some serious skill to execute properly, but when it is, the ceiling for success is through the roof. To be a rapier player, you need to have an air of cockiness bordering on narcissism. It's not enough to know that you're good, you need everybody else to know you're a god. If you applied to be the 4th Musketeer but your job application got denied, it must have been because you were too good for them. 6th, we have the Spear. The Spear is the longest weapon in New World and offers the farthest reach for melee weapons. Similar to Warhammer, the Spear can execute quick and consecutive CC chains to lock down enemies for prolonged periods. While the Warhammer provides more AoE and damage, the Spear is much faster and harder to avoid, which allows for easy combos. For those interested in dungeons, the Spear also provides the largest armor reduction debuff in the game, which makes it super valuable for the dungeon runs. The Spear playstyle is a hit and run style where you want to execute quick trades when you have your abilities up, then disengage once you've blown a combo. If your favorite movie was 300 and you just want to constantly scream, "This is Sparta!" every time you vault kick somebody, the Spear is for you. If you get excited by the mere thought of Jackie Chan or anyone saying the word parkour, the Spear is for you. If you were a baton girl growing up, the Spear is also for you. 7th, we have the Bow. The Bow is the ranged version of the Rapier where it does incredible damage, but it can be very hard to land shots because the arrows are projectiles and you need to lead your shots. That said, if you can land headshots with the Bow, nothing in New World hits harder. If the Hatchet is playing New World on easy mode, then the Bow is playing on hard mode because both players and PvE creatures will move very quickly and your arrows don't have big hitboxes. The general playstyle for bow players is the backline DPS monster who excels when their targets aren't constantly moving. Let's get the easy one out first. If the thought of Orlando Bloom in long white hair sliding down stairs on a shield while sniping orcs with a bow is in your top 5 all-time best movie scenes, the Bow is for you. If you could always go for a bacon cheeseburger no matter what time it is, then believe it or not, the Bow is for you. If you fancy yourself a fortune teller, mind reader, or social elite with an ego, the Bow is for you. 8th is the Musket. The Musket is the easy version of the Bow because it's hit scan and not projectile based, which means you just have to aim well when firing. The Musket has less damage than the Bow, but you make up for that with a much higher shot to hit ratio. Bow players tend to want to stay at mid-range, while musket players want to make as much distance as humanly possible and really play that backline sniper role. This is even fleshed out in a trait line that's literally called Sniper and gives you a 3x zoom for sniping. Out of all the weapons in New World, the musket really gives you that colonial time feel when it comes to the sense of exploration that comes with Eternum. Here's the deal. If you come from any FPS game like Halo, Call of Duty, or Valorant, you're gonna love the musket. If you have at least one 360 no-scope montage on YouTube, you're gonna love the musket. If you're an ex-military or have at least 3 dead animals mounted somewhere in your home, the musket is for you. And finally, I don't know why, but it is true, if the ending to Braveheart chokes you up and waters your eyes, first, that's okay, it means you're human, and second, the musket is for you. 9th, the Fire Staff. The Fire Staff is the ranged AoE king of New World with the iconic "I'm a mage and I do fire stuff" feel. The Fire Staff can do some pretty amazing upfront burst with solid damage over time applications utilizing the burn debuff. Literally every single ability in the Fire Staff kit is also an AoE application, including its 15-meter dash, which is the longest in New World. If Dungeons and Dragons is your favorite pastime and the mere mention of the word wizard puts you at half-mast, then the Fire Staff is for you. If as a kid, your favorite activity wasn't sports, it was burning ants with a magnifying glass, the Fire Staff is for you. A typical Fire Staff user could get their money stolen and legs broken, and they could shrug that off. But if somebody mixes up Dumbledore and Gandalf, they will end that person's entire existence. Finally, if Disco Inferno is the top played song on your Spotify playlist, the Fire Staff is for you. 10th, the Ice Gauntlet. The Ice Gauntlet provides a unique mage gameplay that gives you that "I'm a mage and I do ice stuff" feel. The Ice Gauntlet is jam-packed with great damage and incredible zone control. On top of providing great damage and zone control, your abilities also allow you to go invulnerable and reset your mana, and you can create your own little ice pylon friend, which is the only companion summoning in the game. If you love playing mages but want to experiment with a playstyle not commonly found in other games, the Ice Gauntlet is an excellent weapon for you. If you're currently or have ever been a GM, this is the weapon for you. If you loved Arnold Schwarzenegger's Mr. Freeze and could never forgive Batman for what he did to him, the Ice Gauntlet is for you. If you're currently living in or would like to move to Alaska, Canada, or Russia, the Ice Gauntlet is for you. Finally, we're going to end with a dad joke. If you fancy yourself a cool kid, then
We interrupt this program for an important news announcement.
I'm ugly and I'm proud.
11th, last but not least, we have the Life Staff. The Life Staff is the premier and uncontested healing weapon in New World. Simply put, if you want to be a healer in New World, you have to use the Life Staff. In most games, there's always that one weapon that the developers have a really hard time balancing, and in New World, that's the Life Staff. It is incredibly overtuned, and to put it simply, one Life Staff can out-heal 3 DPS players with ease. The abilities range from single-target heals to multi-target heals to AoE ground heals and buffs, and due to its absurd power, the current best 1v1 builds all use a Life Staff to guarantee that you can't die. There are really 2 types of people that enjoy the Life Staff. The first are the kinds of people that enjoy playing broken builds that make them immortal. The second are the genuine good guys who just want to be healers and help everyone out. The first tend to be the loudest and most braggadocious friends you have, and they tend to require validation for everything they accomplish. They'll be the friends posting Instagram pictures of their cooking when it's just a PB&J, and they clearly struggled to keep the jelly on the bread and not the plate. The second kind are the unsung heroes of the world, the men and women that we need but don't deserve. The loving little brothers of the world. And speaking of which, Mike says that the Life Staff users are people that mained Mercy in Overwatch, then complained when she got reworked. That's gonna wrap up the video, everybody. Sorry if it felt like I peered into your soul and perfectly matched your personality with the weapons. Hope this video is just a fun, nice, helpful way to get newer people to kind of get a look and see what the weapons are and what might match them going into the game. If anybody is interested and wanted to learn more about certain weapons, check out my 101 series where I go through an in-depth guide on each and every one of those weapons, what they do, their traits, and all that fun stuff. If you guys enjoyed, don't forget to like, sub, and comment because that really helps out the channel. And as always, I love you guys, I appreciate you guys, and I'll catch you in the next one. See ya!